Hey, welcome everybody. It's your boy Kojay and 44. We're back with another episode. This is episode 12 of our Release a Snyder Cut podcast series.
Hey, what's up? What's good? What's goody? It's been a long ass fucking time since we did this.
Yeah, that is true. But some good things have been happening. Some interesting things have happening, like you've been mentioning. That article, right?
Well, not too good things have been happening. There's been a pandemic going on.
Oh, yes!
I'm sorry, I did have to just mention that, but so hope everyone's doing well through that. For those who are still got their jobs, hold on to them. For those who don't, hang in there. You know what I'm saying? They're saying this shit's gonna clear up soon anyway. So, Godspeed to you all.
Yeah,
But
amen. And seriously, I work in healthcare, so it's funny. I didn't even mention that. I guess I got just used to it. But 44, which you said is true. Just
yeah,
stay careful. There's a time to be courteous, not selfish, and let the people in medical field do this battle, so we could all be
yeah.
safe. And do your
But
part.
beyond that, there has been, some good things that happen, with all that going on and within the movement and all that, and the Snyder Cut eventually coming out, I think soon. It's bubbling pretty high at this
Hmm.
point.
Despite what some people say, the Snyder Cut movement is dead. That's huge fabrication.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I yeah, that was a. Yeah, that's a huge fabrication.
Yeah,
we're,
yeah, that's
we're
like delusions
we're
of
we're we're like
grandeur.
Nintendo, motherfucker. Dead since
uh,
when? Dead since the day we was born, nigga. And we still
uh,
here. You feel me? Like, just saying, like, they've been saying that since the beginning. Like, oh, the movement is dead. It's like, oh, we are.
mm-hmm.
Then
Yeah,
we must be zombies or something.
yeah, they've been saying it since the beginning of this, and while they've been saying it, a lot of people have accepted that it does exist, when
Yeah,
before
it
it
definitely
doesn't
exists at
exist.
this point. And
It's been existing.
it's getting to that point where, you know, it's getting to that rumbling point where now there's rumors coming out that Zack Snyder could be coming back to work on another DC film, and apparently it could be outside the DCEU. This comes from a rumor mill known as those who have it covered, and also a few other places were talking about it. And but yeah, if things like this are being thrown into the air, at this point, you feel me, the Snyder cut, is definitely on the fucking table. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I think personally. Cause and on top of that, if it's a film that's not in the DCEU that takes a place outside of it where he can do whatever he wants, then you never really know what that can be. But essentially, that can also be, like yeah, a reconciliation. You feel me? Like a little gift bag. We're like, yeah, all right, now our bad too. We're gonna put the Snyder cut out. You feel what I mean? And we'll give you another DC film to work on the side. Our bad. You feel me? But I personally, don't think it would be enough. But that's just my opinion. But hey, if that's a possibility, then you never know.
I embrace that. I mean, how cool would it be if he did like something that's self-contained in its own? Maybe a Justice League Dark. That's a kind of stretch, but that's kind of like what I would
Yeah,
like.
because J.J. Abrams doing Justice League Dark. Well, I doubt that he's gonna do it directly. He might like do the first two episodes or something. But
Mm,
I think he's good. His production company, Bad Robot, is the ones that are gonna be getting that done and all
yeah,
that.
or something
So
along that vein.
yeah, there's always the question is a
Mm-hmm.
is a is a film that a lot of people feel like Zack Snyder could probably handle very well. But there's honestly, there's a fucking slew. He can do anything when it comes to DC, in
He
my
could do
opinion.
just like a solo Red Hood one, or even further, even because there was a reiteration of Vigilante where he kind of had a helmet. You could do something with him too, maybe if you wanted.
Yeah,
There's just a lot. DC, the universe of DC is a very huge, and it's got multiple layers and realms within it. that
and
anyone can kind of speak their
Ambush
voice.
Bug movie by Zack
Oh,
Snyder.
Ambush Bug would go hard. Oh my god. That
You
people
never
don't give
know.
him
Could be
credit.
any. Could be
Ambush Bug
anything.
is our Deadpool, bro.
Yeah, Ambush Bug. But even though
Ambush
Snyder
Bug, man.
doesn't lean into the comedy too much, but damn
Yeah.
near at all.
But I
But
still think
yeah,
he could kill it with the
it could be
con.
anything.
I know,
You
right?
know, there's also Lobo.
Ah, yeah.
Lobo would definitely be an interesting. I always thought Lobo was a very interesting character too, because because not only is he a super space badass, bounty hunter, but his relationship with Superman and the Justice League is just fantastic.
Mhm.
And if he were to get his own movie, it would be cool to see how how far it can stretch into the the greater DC universe, like, and see him interact with some characters in a very cool way. At least I think. Like I think it would be cool to like have a Lobo movie. You feel me? Where he's on a bounty hunter mission. You feel me? He gets into some bullshit and gets captured, and then in the place where he's getting taken back, like one of the members of the league is there, already locked up in there. You feel what I mean? And
Right?
that in itself would be just situational humor that I just think it would just be hilarious. You feel what I mean? And then they got to work together to get out, and then maybe he fucks him over, like. Just there's a lot of interesting things you could do with that character
Hey, yo, what if
that
he
could be
gets
very
stuck in
dope.
some? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What if he gets stuck in like some apocalyptic prison somewhere else, and he's like bumping into Mr. Miracle? That's an easy way to get out.
Yeah, exact. Mr. Miracle was cool as shit, and then they got to work together to escape because since Mr. Miracle is the master of escape and shit,
Yep.
can escape anything and shit.
Wow.
But
Or
yeah,
even
beyond
like
that,
a Katana video movie.
a
Like,
Katana movie would be.
yeah, go because he's great with the choreography and action. You
There's
know.
so much they could have did with Katana, and I don't even think she's
I
gonna
think they
be in
already
fucking
did. I think they
Suicide
cut her
Squad.
out. I think they cut her out. I think
Yeah,
she
I
did
don't
a lot.
like. They didn't even they. See, all right, we're not even gonna get it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a
Woo!
lot they could have did with Katana, but man, I'm just saying, like she was a very cool character in Suicide Squad. So,
hmm
like, but with that, with talks like that going on, like, where does that leave the Snyder Cut though? Like, is this thing gonna keep just floating in the air and just being, especially with HBO Max looming and all that, like. And some people are saying that WB is too snobby and corporate and stupid to actually be playing into this, playing into the hype machine, and they don't actually believe that they'll go for, a random announcement to, quote unquote, break the internet. I guess you feel me, like, or things of that nature.
Which is
But
weird because it's like counterproductive of their whole purpose of being a film studio, and
yeah, what do
it's
you
like
think about that? Do you think WB is too stupid to actually, utilize something like that or do something like that, or do you think that they'll do something like that? Do you think that maybe that is part of their plan and Snyder's plan too? You feel what I mean? When this all comes to fruition, that he's just gonna lay it on you, right there. It's just gonna then the announcement's just gonna come mad random, like
I think I think it's ooh. Well, they confused me because I think I always thought that they would do smart things and follow the money or follow the hype, but sometimes I get a vibe that they're kind of prestigious in their own arrogance or stubbornness, and or if they have like this hierarchy or these levels of where certain films and genres and their audiences that they think are going to be like you got the kids audience, you got this summer blockbuster audience, and they give certain attention to different things, and they give certain people in charge of those ones and just trust them. It's like are we really against like Warner Brothers, or are we really against a certain person like maybe Toby Emmerich or Jeff Johns, who are just stubborn and keeping at bay because they're like, oh no, no, don't put that out yet, don't put the Snyder Cut out yet, because that's going to interfere with this plan that I'm doing. Ho ho ho. I'm speculating that's a problem that's holding us back from getting our film.
Yeah, and in corporate politics and shit like that.
Yeah, I think it's like that.
Company politics.
Yeah, but especially with like the fact that Zack Snyder called it Zack Snyder's Justice League, the success of Joker. I believe it can come out, coexist, and I think it's an illusion that people are thinking, oh, now which way are we gonna go? Right now, everyone's confused because Birds of Prey was like an alternate sequel, alternate universe sequel, and then you have this other non DCU related film like Joker, and then you got non DCU related film like Batman coming out, and then you got an actual Shazam that's
Yeah,
allegedly in
it's
it.
very bipolar.
Yeah, they've made it so messy that Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out would not hurt or threaten anything at all. So why not? Especially when the money's hot right there. That's where I can't really answer that 100% because they confuse the shit out of me. Because I thought they would be doing the smart thing where smart money is. And nope.
Well, what I think is that there's a weird culture of like elitism. This is not to say that Hollywood hasn't always been that way, the industry,
Right.
but there's a weird culture of like elitism going on in like the media industries right now. And it seems like, you know, from my perspective, that they don't care about the money or they can make, or what the consumer wants anymore at all. Because you can say they cared a little bit, because if you cared about that, they're pretty much saying that you care about the money. You feel what I mean? Like, if you at least cared about what the consumer wanted a little bit, you'll definitely make some money.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like it's like this weird trend. It's like where they don't care, and they're just like intent to do like whatever they want. I guess it's weird. You feel what I mean?
Yeah, it is
Like,
so weird. It's like, who are you making the films for, and how is
it's
that going to
yeah,
really pay your bills?
yeah. It seems like they're making it for themselves, or sometimes, and for specific, very specific niche markets.
Yeah,
And
like
that's
the
why I say it's odd, because I can even speak honestly about Birds of Prey, and like, because to be honest, like, I didn't really have anything against the film besides the fact that you could have had Batgirl in here too. That kind of would have definitely. There's a lot of things that could have definitely upped the film that people just would wanted from a Birds of Prey film, like,
mm,
and like they just seemed like they were intent on just making it for this very specific niche, like a market and group, when it could have been like way broader, and they were fine with that. And but then at the same time, I guess they wanted it to make money, but they didn't. I don't know. It's like very odd. You really
yeah, it's
like,
perplexing, man.
yeah, because it's like you made the film in a way that, like I said, that would really only go for a specific demo and a specific niche group of people.
That didn't even request it.
Yeah, and but then you still wanted it to be like gangbusters and bring in everybody that would have wanted to see the film, and it's like you didn't even and people say a lot about how Harley Quinn showed a lot of skin and you know Suicide Squad, but they didn't even go with like the old school or like the more original Harley Quinn look, where she didn't show pretty much any skin. Really, you feel me?
Right.
Like, or there's also outfits that were earlier on where she was way more covered up, and she still just wore the red, and she wore like red and black, and she would wear like those tight pants, and like, you feel me, a full shirt. Like, it wasn't like cut at the waist or anything. Like, you feel me, it was like kind of a jester outfit. Like, it would, but it looks fly though. There's a lot of different looks that Harley Quinn had that were more Harley Quinn than, you feel what I mean, just sexy girl, in my
Mm.
opinion. Like the history of Harley Quinn when I grew up, you feel there, like, like, yeah, she played off the innuendos, and she was very flirtatious, but as far as her look and how she carried herself, she wasn't really, like, her tits weren't fucking out. Like, I didn't grow up with a Harley Quinn with her tits out and walking around with booty shorts, you feel what I mean, and all this other shit. And then they kind of make it seem like, oh, that was the issue that they were fighting against. But I felt like they played into that though, and I felt like maybe if they went for something that was way like modern, but at the same time old school. Like have Batgirl in there, have all those same characters in there, have Harley Quinn be more original. Actually, have to earn her keep into the Birds of Prey. Have them actually team up in a cool way at the end. You feel me? Like, and yes, as far as people would fucking shit on it all they want, it would have been cool to have fucking Joker get his ass beat by Harley Quinn in there for a second. Like, it would have been
Oh,
cool
that'd
to
be
actually
sick.
see them break up and get into a crazy fight and have her win. Like, come
Oh, that'd be
on,
great. Cause I always hate how he
like
abuses her, man. That bothers me.
yeah, and but it's like they didn't give us any of that.
Dang,
And
man.
I feel like if some of that stuff could have even worked and played into what they were trying to do, but they just stripped it down so much, and that's why I say it's kind of weird how they're coming about it, and then weird how they're like you trying to explain why it didn't work, and like where like the fans are just sitting here like with their hand like, but we asked you and clearly like it has nothing like people can use the excuse of politics and all that. It really has nothing. It's like we just like they were like it's like we told you like what could have worked. Like we're telling you not only we're telling you to add more girls in the movie. Like we want more girls. You feel me? We want them to kick more ass. You feel what I mean?
Oh,
Like
hell
we
yeah.
want more depths. Like you feel what I mean? And they're coming at it like, oh man, they didn't want to see it because it was women. It's like what? Like it wasn't that at all. Like you feel me? Like and they also say like, oh yeah, you feel what I mean? The women were sexualized in the first one, so we toned it down in this one. But like I'm looking at it, I'm like, but they still look sexy though. You feel what I mean? Like I've seen outfits of these characters in all different forms that didn't look like this. You feel what I mean? They looked way more like you can go with the Black Canary, but you feel what I mean? There's also been a lot of interpretations of Black Canary where she wasn't just wearing, you feel me, the tube top thing. You feel me? She
Mm-hmm.
she wore pants a lot. Like you feel what I mean? They just brought it back. Let's just be honest. All right, they brought
Right.
it back like you feel me in the modern age. You feel me? There was a long time where she wasn't even wearing that shit. So I'm just like, it's a weird bipolar thing. You feel me? And people are just caught in the middle, confused. Like I think when it comes to like a lot of this and even with films like Shazam and all that too. It's like I felt like Shazam also had like a really bipolar thing about it, like where they wanted to make it seem like it was a real serious film that was super delved into the lore of the DCEU, and then you feel me. Then they wanted it to be a kids movie, like like, and I hate to say it, like based on what the DCEU was at that time, it wasn't really kiddie like that. Not to say a kid couldn't exist in it, and people are gonna use this use like, well, Shazam was supposed to be happy, kiddie, and goofy, and it's like, well, they shouldn't have promoted it that way. You feel like you shouldn't have promoted it like it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be deep stuck into the lore of the DCEU and the fresh beginnings of how it is. Like, oh no, we're not gonna veer away. We're gonna dive straight in. You feel me? You're gonna see, and then yeah, we saw it was Shazam throwing fucking toys around. You feel what I mean? Like a little wuss. You feel what I mean? To be honest, he was throwing
Mm.
DCU lore around. It was a kids movie kind of, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like if y'all didn't say that from the beginning, though, like, and that's why I felt like that hurt that movie too, because of, you feel me, kind of like how this bipolar back and forth that they're having with these, like, there's definitely a thing where they want to have their cake and eat it too, like, and
Yeah.
it seems like it, and it also goes into like I'm saying like how they don't really even care about the money like that. It seems like because even going into Joker. Like the film only cost like 50 million, and they split the budget like three ways on a $50 million film. I think I'm pretty sure it was around there like 50 million. But even it doesn't even matter. Even if it was 40 million to 60 million, like you feel me, and from their stance of what they had your WB, you feel that's nothing. You feel me, like you split it three ways, and then the shit made a billion, and y'all just sitting there like, eh. Like, what? That was probably one of the stupidest business decisions you have ever made. That was one of the most profitable films to ever come out. Like, and all you had to do was put up a little measly, not say measly, but like a damn near low mid level budget.
And
And
also,
like they don't. it seems like they don't even fucking care. Like, to be honest, and it's not just WB that acts this way. It's like I said, it's across the board with a lot of these, in just media nowadays. It's just across the board. Like, they just do shit, and then it just seems like they don't even care about, like, you feel me, the backlash or losing money, or they didn't even consider it. It's very stupid to me. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you took it out of my mind. That's like what baffles me, which it makes it a little bit harder to figure out. Okay, why is it so hard to release a Snyder cut with all this going on, and with all this going on, why are you even making the choices that you're doing? Sometimes it feels
Yeah,
even spiteful.
I said that to lead into the Snyder cut. Like, a lot of times it does seem like, it's like even when it came down to like how they even fucked up the movie to begin with, it's like y'all really don't have that much care into this shit, do you? Like, y'all
Not
really
much
don't.
care to spend so
Yeah,
much money into caring
yeah,
about it last minute.
yeah. Like, y'all really like don't give a fuck, and that's why I say like WB is not really up to that extent to, like, where they're like companies that like are willing to like completely abandon their entire fucking consumer base to push, like, just to push a political message.
Mm.
Like, I haven't seen WB, do things that, to that extent yet, but they might. But like, it's like, yeah, it's like things of that nature. It's just like, you know what, fuck it. Like, this movie could be like this and it could be fire, but you see all the Marvel movies just coming out the conveyor belt like McDonald's McDoubles. We'll just make the movie like that because that's what everybody likes. And it's like, and then when it fucks up, they're like, I guess we'll just start doing shit a little different. You feel what I mean? Make a movie over here, make a movie over there.
But
It's like,
even
huh?
there, what I like that Marvel did is, uh, granted, plus or minus whatever, they still gave their audience what the audience was expecting and wanted. It's like they were in the whatever path it is, they were like together. They were all on the same page, audience and films, audience and films. Us, I remember we were so hyped about that slate. BVS, was it Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Justice League Part 1, Shazam, Cyborg, Justice League Part 2, Green Lantern Corps, blah blah blah, The Flash. I mean, that was fire. Listen, they even had a special on TV on the CW. It was like an hour before Supergirl or something, where the first
Yeah,
half was promoting the slate of the DCEU films coming, and motherfucking Jeff Johns was there promoting it, and they had the Man of Steel music. They were all hyping that specific slate, and they hyped that slate after they hyped the CW shows, and it was great. And I saved it on the DVR, but we switched cable services, so I don't have that anymore, unfortunately. But I'm sure it's somewhere online. But I remember they were hyping that slate, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. WB is, they got cojones. They're sticking to their guns. And I always thought that about WB because the Harry Potter films were popular, but they weren't like super trendy like Transformers, but they had a strong fan base. And true, they made changes, but they still honored their fan base. And they stuck to their guns and saw it from beginning to
yeah.
end.
That's why I
And I
say
thought
that
they were going to do that. I
WB,
thought they were going to
they
stick to their
lost their
guns.
balls in this era, man. They lost their balls recently, yo.
Uh,
That they even
WB,
say
where the
that
balls at? Where the balls at?
they even say that in them trade articles that, like, yeah, like we used to be a prestige studio. We're supposed to be prestige. Like, yeah, you did, but then you started doing all this dumb shit. And another thing, even when it comes to the Marvel shit, is that it's like people have to accept that, Marvel fans are different than DC fans, especially when it comes to films. You feel me? Like,
Hmm.
you know,
And
it's like
Snyder said it best. He said that they focused on the frosting instead of the cake.
yeah. And that's what it really comes down to. Because I don't want to just say like, oh man, they got brainwashed early, but the majority of Marvel fans are film fans that, you feel what I mean, that just believe in they hate the shit on them like that, like just the style over substance. You feel what I mean? As long as the film gives them what they want out of it, And then you feel
The
me.
action
Everything
cues,
else,
the laugh
yeah,
cues, the
everything else
serious
it
cues.
can go to the birds. You feel me? You feel me? As long as like if so, as long as the film gives them what they want, then the script be damned, the cinematography be damned. You feel what I mean? Like the direction be damned. You feel what I mean? Like shit. You feel what I mean? None of that shit fucking like for all that shit can be garbage across the board. As long as you feel what I mean. Captain America looks and acts like Captain America, and Iron Man looks and acts like Iron Man. You feel what I mean? And you know things of that nature. You feel what I mean? And the plot hits those 1, 2, 3. You feel me? Over hits, and then that's it. You feel what I mean? Like they have a very low bar and a very low expectations. You feel me? When it comes to these films, whether they even know it or not. It's kind of like, and I don't need to shit on Power Rangers fans in that sense because Power Rangers fans get way more respect because Power Rangers has been around for way longer, and it's more of a thing where it's like, don't if it's not broke, don't fix it, and it's also on TV. Before I say this, but it's almost like a thing with Power Rangers fans where it's like, all right, they not watching Power Rangers up to this date now because it's fucking super up to date and modernized and it's fucking being made by Martin Scorsese. They're watching Power Rangers because it's giving them what they want. The same old
Hmm.
Power Rangers, how Power Rangers has been since Power Rangers has came out.
And
Like,
yo,
feel me? And
I'll
they
vouch for that
even
too.
yeah, because you go exactly. If you watch modern day Power Rangers that came out this year or last year, it's exactly like the Power Rangers from back in the day. You
No,
feel
but
what I
not
mean?
that
They make it.
that, bro. Because I'm
They
a
make it the
fan.
same way. They haven't updated the
Hmm.
production value or anything, and there's nothing wrong with that because they know what the fans want. You feel me?
Hmm.
They could probably make a dope ass, extra stylized, high production, fire, technically fire. You feel me? Power Ranger cinema. Hell yeah, they can do that. But they not going to because they know like oh the fans want this. They want the clunky outfits. You feel
Hmm.
what I mean? They want the clunky CGI and the cheesiness. That's what they want. You feel what I mean? Like,
And
and that's yeah. That's what it comes down to.
and you're right, because
Kojay.
thank you, thank you. I got so excited because that I'm a fan of the Super Sentai, what Power Rangers is based off of.
Yeah.
And that shit has been around since like the 70s. And what you said is correct, even though they do it a little different and I feel they go harder. But it is the same context of what you described. They have their formula, their method, it's like they have their style of music and they're just putting out a new album.
Yep.
And
That's
that's what
what
they do.
and that's just what they do. Like
And I admit, I'm fucking addicted to that.
and when it comes down to it, like people are, they there's a lot more people that just are into those type of films. You feel what I mean?
Hmm.
Especially when it comes to the Marvel side of things. You feel me? Just like with the Fast and Furious. You feel what I mean? Even though I still think the Fast and Furious films has more depth. Yeah, take that burn. But it's the same shit. Motherfuckers is not going to Fast and Furious to see a fucking James Bond esque movie. They're going to Fast and Furious to see fast cars. You feel what I mean? Fast cars,
And
fast
crazy
cars.
situations,
Yeah,
It's
like
almost like a
motherfuckers getting
kid playing
punched in
with
their
his Hot
shit.
Wheels.
Big titties, fast cars. You feel what I mean? Guns, fast cars. You feel me? We haven't even got to the drugs yet. You know what I mean? Like they know what they're trying to push. The party, and that's why they're you feel me? They're not gonna like switch it up all of a sudden and turn this shit into fucking The Godfather. You feel me? Like they
Oh,
could. They might do that for the last one maybe, but
oh.
it's like yo, they're not. It's like they're just not gonna do that. Like you feel me? And then you can't knock other people for just pointing that out and saying like yeah, the movies are alright and they do what they do, but you feel me? Like it's like they're clearly like you feel me, kind of mediocre. You feel what I mean? They're not. They're leaving mad boxes unchecked. Like my nigga, like you feel me? And you feel me? Unfortunately, DC didn't do the same thing that Marvel did, especially earlier on. You feel what I mean? They went about it. They went about it. You feel me? I mean WB, I should say,
Mm.
with DC. They went about it, the way that they usually do. Like, all right, because WB usually does try to go hard and do some hard hitting films. They made Lord of the Rings and The Matrix, and you feel what I mean? And
Oh, yeah, that's what gave me
like
so much
Harry
faith in
Potter and
them.
all that shit,
Yeah.
and those were all you feel what I mean.
Oh.
Serious. You feel what I mean. Well rounded. You feel me? Adventure. You feel what I mean? Fantasy, high concept films that expanded, several films. You feel what I mean? And kept its style and all that shit. And got like they've been doing shit. Like, so it's like what happened was, you feel what I mean? These motherfuckers turned into like straight bitches. You feel me? Out of nowhere, once they put together an all-star team. You feel me? Of filmmakers. You feel me? Behind Zack Snyder and everything to push the DCEU forward and actually push these characters in a way that no one has ever seen before. And they actually were about to leave behind all that Chris Reeves. You feel what I mean? Old school nonsense when it came to the Superman character, and finally pushed the shit into the Justice League era on the big screen. You feel me? Like,
in an epic, beautiful
yeah.
way, in
And
the
then
vein of Lord
here
of the
comes
Rings.
all these. You feel what I mean? Marvel fans, pretty much Marvel S fans, that pretty much are like, why aren't these films like the Marvel films? You feel me? Why, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why pretty much saying, like, why are you putting so much damn effort and depth and doing all this extra shit when I just want to see fucking Superman flying through the sky, smiling, he'll probably, go save a kid that's, you feel me, drowning in the pool, pat him on his head, you feel me, take off and shit, the big cat in a tree. You know where I'm going with this. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
like, it's like they're like, yeah, why are you doing all this when this is what I want to see? And then but it's like, DC fans looking at y'all on the other side like, motherfucker, we don't care what y'all want to see. We want to see this. You feel what I mean? And like and it's a thing where it's like we've been wanting to see this and watching shit. It's like what are like why are people are trying to play it off like, oh yeah, this is a thing where it's like, oh yeah, the fans didn't like it. It's like, no, it was really the critics and the media, you feel me, and you feel what I mean, the rabid Marvel fans, you feel what I mean, that they sicked on these films too for not being like Marvel films, and also the unnecessary competition that was also pushed by Disney and Kevin Feige. You feel me? Whether people want to even accept that or not, but it was obvious even at the time. Like, dude literally copied BVS. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of bullshit. Like, when it really just came down to like they've been making films. Like, there's been Watchmen. You feel what I mean? The Batman films. Even the Batman '89, not Batman and Robin, but still, you feel what I mean? Was still a dark ass film that was just mad cheesy. You feel what I mean?
That's
but
true, man.
they still tried to hit off the same gothic beats that was set up in the Burton films. So it's like, it's been known that this is what, you feel me, the consumer wants as far as when it comes to these films, or at least something along the lines. They don't really want any, you feel me, cookie cutter shit. You feel me? If you're gonna make it good. You feel what I mean? And that's, you feel me, not the shit on, and that's why I say it's not the shit on Power Rangers fans or even completely shit on Marvel fans. You feel what I mean? But when you feel in other groups, you feel what I mean? Because you're not going to go over there and do that to Star Wars fans when they expect, a certain caliber and look and production when it comes to Star Wars and form and level of storytelling and all that. And then you're going to come over there and say, like, nah, we want it like this. You feel what I mean? Like what the fuck? And then completely fucking just screw the pooch on it. You feel what I mean? It's ridiculous. You feel me? Like Power Rangers should be like this. Marvel, did they want to push it like that? DC need to be like this. You feel me? I've been a firm believer that, you feel me, going back to that Super Friend shit is that's always what made DC corny, is why people think DC is corny. You feel me? That's the only thing. That's the only thing that can make DC corny. When it goes back to that happy-go-lucky Super Friends type of shit, you feel me? That's the reason why people thought fucking Aquaman was a fucking lame for a minute. That's the reason why, on top of the Christopher Reeve films, because I'm gonna get to that in a second. And on top of that, that's the reason why a lot of people didn't like Superman and thought he was just a Boy Scout and not in the good way. For me, that's the reason why a lot of people didn't really know Wonder Woman like that. Let's be honest, you feel me? Until you feel me, more comics started coming out and they started checking them out in the modern age, and her popping up in the animated shows and in the animated films. Like, let's BG. You feel me? A lot of these characters, you feel what I mean, damn near got played out. You feel what I mean? By many different demographics, because of how watered down they tried to push them back in the day. And that's just me being told. That's just me being totally truthful. You feel me? And then looking at modern age now, Aquaman made $1 billion. You feel what I mean? Everyone's like, oh man, Aquaman can be cool. Like, yeah, no doubt, because Aquaman is a cool character. They were just pushing him like a lame to you. All your memories of him, of how he was lame. Because you feel me? Like, that's how they were selling him. You feel me? Hate to say it, but it is. Like, you can sit here, well, like, it was comic accurate, and that's history, and that's how I go, like, I don't care. Because if you go past that, Aquaman wasn't like that. You feel me? Like, it's like, come on.
He even lost his hand and had a spike, like a little.
It's like, come on, like, and even when it's the same thing with Superman too. It's the same thing. Like, everyone tries to put Superman on the pedestal because it was the first superhero film, Superman on the big screen and all that. But I told you before too that, you feel me, like, Superman is not it's like, it's almost like a damn near a propaganda lauded film. Like, you know, man, a lot of people don't fuck with that damn film. Like, you feel me? The only people do is that it's fucking comic book historians and shit. Like, real shit. Like, people don't sit around like, oh yeah, I'm about to turn around, I'm about to toss on fucking Superman 78. Like, no. Like, what are you talking about? They clown those movies, dog. Like, come on. And especially the later ones, they clown them shits. Them shits was kind of silly, man. And you feel me? And them shits didn't hit, and them shits did not hit like that in every demographic. Like, unless you were some diverse geek dude that was really into it, that really was into the lore and history of Superman, like, motherfuckers wasn't just sitting around like, oh yeah, Superman 78, that's that fire. Like, nah, bro, it was Batman 89. Batman 89 is what really brought the fire to comic book films, man. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
Superman, the Superman films may have kicked it off, but they sold that Superman like Super Friend Superman. That was Super Friend Superman right there, bro. You feel me? Like, and that movie came out in a time, you feel what I mean, where the demographics were very separate. Let me say that. You feel me? And what does that mean? That means that black people weren't fucking with the same shit that white people were fucking with. And down the line, and Asian people weren't fucking with the same shit that black people weren't fucking with, and they weren't fucking with the same shit that white people are. And that's what I'm saying. The demographics are way more strict. Like, all the white people may have thought that shit was super duper cool, but then all the other demographics are looking at it like, and then there was even groups of white people sitting there like, all right, that shit was just okay. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, it was really the most nerdiest of the nerd that was like, oh my god, like, when this movie came out, it was everything. It was like. But when we look at it now, it was like, bro, y'all was tripping. You feel me? Because dude didn't even really do nothing. Y'all was just drooling. Y'all was just drooling over a man in a cape that was just picking up stuff and just being a nice guy.
You're right, man. Because for the longest time, I was strictly a Batman fan and a Marvel fan and Punisher and X-Men series fan. And the reasons I did not like Superman was for that Boy Scout Super Friends propaganda thing. And I was actually hating on Superman for a long time.
A lot of people were.
Right? So one of my boys...
They try to deny now that everybody loves Superman because it's a Superman, it's a superhero era, it's a comic book movie era, so they still have to uphold that. Oh yeah, Superman's still the coolest. But low-key, they're trying to give Iron Man Superman spot. Like,
right?
But it's like, come on. But they're trying to get like, oh, we all love him. But nah, bro. I used to shit on Superman, like, for a while. Even all the way up to now. Like, come on. Like,
yeah. It wasn't until one of my boys told me to actually read the Superman comic because I was like, why? He's like, actually, he goes through some shit. He's a deep character, and they actually go hard. I was like, really? Huh. Then when I got into reading them, you know, I still have my favorite comics like For Tomorrow and Godfall and Superman Earth 1, but written by Michael Straczynski. I mean, those are like my favorite Superman stories, and those are the ones that proved me wrong, and they're so beautiful, and I love them. 2 of them drawn by Jim Lee, and 2 of them I think written by Jeff Loeb also. Oh, 1 done by Michael Turner. But anyways, but it showed me Superman being challenged, that, okay, he does have this power, but he does get challenged even physically at Goku levels. There's actually dark elements, like the people around. He may not be a dark person, but people around him, like Lex Luthor, they like shoot people. They do horrible things behind the scenes. So his world is bloodied with horrible villains and such. And I was like, wow, how come this has never been put on film? This is epic. This is great.
And Superman always has to maneuver in the best possible way, so he can try to get things to lead to the best possible outcome. You know? In the films, especially in the Chris Reeves films, to be honest, they just kind of make it mad easy for the dude. In the comics, It's not like that. There's
Yeah, he's
mad different plot
challenged. It's
layers of
not
shit
easy.
going on. Yeah, it's not just about him being the strongest dude. There's a mad
Hmm.
situations he goes into. You feel what I mean? Where him being the fucking strongest motherfucker ever don't even really matter at all. And at the end of it, he's still gonna have to fight some extra strong dude just because.
Hmm.
Like, it's
Exactly.
like,
And that's why I'm a huge Snyder fan, is because not because I'm like, oh, Snyder for life, da 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 da. Only his way is the best way. No, I'm a huge Snyder fan. Additionally, because he is the one who brought what I saw in the comics that were never done in cinema to the cinema. And I'm a DCEU fan because before that, I'm a DC fan. And what I always wanted, Snyder's universe delivered. Thank you, Zack Snyder.
word up.
And he did it
Cause,
with plus points. His
cause
version
I,
of Aquaman and Wonder Woman is like spot on. And, he made liberties with changing Aquaman, but I think he's like, whoa, he gave Aquaman more color. Wow, that's beautiful. I love it.
yeah, he did some smooth things to try to modernize it without being all up in your face about it. I could
Mmm.
definitely say that.
Like what Krypton did.
Yeah, and it is just a thing where it's just like, I guess WB is gonna try to, you feel me, push into the, you feel me, the McDonald's conveyor belt direction of just, making Power Rangers s superhero films like how Marvel does it, just so, you feel me, I guess, motherfuckers stop whining. But is that necessarily what DC fans want, or what audiences want?
No, audiences always want substance, and I tell you what, this pandemic is helping the Snyder Cut. And not saying we should be thankful for it. I'm just saying that there's a break on cinema, so that momentum, that it's like a drug, like or something you're used to. Once you get off of it, or a habit, once you get off of it, and then when it's available later, you look at it kind of different. You're like, no, I don't really need that much. So not not having blockbuster comic book movies come out at the rhythm that they were breaks the rhythm, so people have time to think really like, well, maybe I did want something more. Maybe I want something different. Let's go back and see that Zack Snyder originality, whatever, you know. So when they do come back trying to fit a rhythm that people got kind of detoxed from, maybe that MCU rhythm we could call it, um, it may not sit well at all. It might not just be like outdated already. So they
Yeah,
need Zack Snyder's Justice League, something that took time, and because anything taken with such care and personality and uh, such vision lasts way longer than something that fits zeitgeist or trend, because those change. Those get outdated fast. They have a quicker expiration date. They always had, you know?
yeah. And at the same time, like, I felt like the DCU didn't even get a chance to really blossom and everything. And then
It was just
all of a
starting
no,
out.
yeah, then out of nowhere we just get hit with this huge wave of less like politicism, where everything just gets politicized. And that's why it's like, Marvel fans did have, you feel me, the opportunity to, let everything grow out of its infancy. And like, we didn't even get, to get a full arc with Batman. We didn't even get to see, they skipped through Harley Quinn's arc. You feel me? Like, like they pretty much dropped Cyborg and all that. They,
Ugh.
Will Smith didn't even come back for Deadshot. It's like, and it's like all this silly shit. Like, and and then they I guess they just blame it on, you feel what I mean, fans being dickheads and acting entitled and shit, you feel what I mean. And then they throw like other words in there, like misogyny, I guess. Like, and that's
Uh,
just, I'm like, okay, like, but
they
yeah,
usually
it's
throw
like,
words that the opposing force is actually about, just so that
uh,
you don't look their way when they
it's
do
like,
it.
yeah, it's like we just want a coherent storyline. Like, goddamn. It's like they make it, like, especially with the Harley Quinn thing. Like, they think they make it seem like we didn't want to see no damn Harley Quinn redemption. You feel me? It's like, yeah, we did. That was the whole point of it. You know, like you know what I mean? Like, at least for me, like, isn't that the whole point of like seeing it from beginning to end, so we can get to see all of it, the character development. You feel me? I
Yeah,
mean,
the
through
trials, the
like,
tribulations, the
yeah,
triumph, the revelations, the character growth, you know?
and well, yeah, you
Leveling
skip
up.
all that, and then you feel me, and then like you just skip all that and just go to the Birds of Prey movie. It's kind of confusing, and like people just feel like they left out. They just were left out in a good, very important and interesting and integral part of the story and the storyline that they've come to know. You feel me? Like it was very important to to see that to see her overcome that. You feel what I mean? To skip over it is like I don't know. I'm not a chick, so I don't know how chicks feel about it. But I feel like to skip over that is kind of like an injustice in a sense.
Hmm.
But they also did it to other characters too, so I can't really complain too much. Like that's what
I
I
know
mean.
quite a few Harley Quinn
Like the
fans and
shit. This
cosplayers. They don't really care too much for Birds of Prey. They're like, yeah, it was alright, it was okay, but and a lot of them always note that they like Suicide Squad better.
mm, but yeah, Harley Quinn show. They did the whole thing that they talked about. They had to joke about the Snyder cut in the beginning of the
Oh
show.
yeah, our next topic. Ah,
Yeah, but they were talking about that for like about a week before it happened and everything.
yeah, they announced, hey, Snyder fans, you're gonna like this new episode or something coming up in that thing. Let me see if I can bring up the video so you can hear it all for you who do not know or haven't known yet.
But yeah, they were talking about it, and then it came out, I guess, and had a a good reaction. Got a lot of memes, and people really had a lot of fun with it for a while. They're still kind of having fun with it, and they even got they made a shirt based on the Snyder Cut guy.
What do you think was their intent behind it?
Um, well, I can't say, but the guy, I guess he was the writer of the show who did it and everything. I guess he just said, they just put it in there. I guess maybe they just put it on his shirt or just put it in there, and WB didn't say anything, so they just went with it. Yeah,
And do
that's
you
what he
think they were
does.
just trying to make fun
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
of us, right?
it's a
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a parody show, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
parody satire show, so they
Yeah.
make fun of pretty much damn near everything, and
Yeah, just like anything.
from the little I've seen of it, they make pretty much fun of pretty much everything DC or DC related. You feel me? This is kind of bringing in something from the outside like that exists in our world more into theirs, but you know, yeah.
Here we go. Let's take a listen, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't believe you want to watch this show. You know they just did a 3-episode arc where Harley beats Penguin, Riddler, and Mr. Freeze using nothing but her Mary Sue powers?
Are you sure you haven't seen the show?
Yeah, because I'm not a 12-year-old girl. Also, dude, why would I watch a show that's set in Gotham City but Batman's barely in it?
You watched all 5 seasons of Gotham.
Because it wasn't a fucking tsunami of virtue signaling. Here, smart guy, let's see what this week's episode of Harley Quinn is about. Harley Quinn and her best friend Poison Ivy, see, aren't in this episode, which focuses on Batman waking from his coma and vowing to take back Gotham City. Fuck. Fine. But if it's sucks, we're watching Family Guy. I can't believe you want to watch the show.
I'm watching Family Guy. Oh
Fuck.
god. Fuck. Now,
It was kind of
uh,
generic, but
yeah, but I
I
don't see any of
let
us in
go.
that. I don't see you. I don't see Peely. I don't see Jeff. I don't see any Snyder Cut person that I know, even our ladies, like that at all. In fact, it looks like
Yeah,
the people
that's
who,
why I said that it's kind of generic. Like
yeah,
they kind of lean more towards the fandom X type, fandom menace type fan, but not even really that because they go even harder than that.
right?
Like, they'll
Oof.
rip you a new asshole when it comes to that shit. Like, but I feel like it was a little generic. They could have went harder. It could have been funnier. You feel me? You
Yeah.
feel me? That's why I feel like it maybe even could have been a thing that they just tossed together and they didn't even really put too much effort about. They might have just wanted to do something to rip on. You feel what I mean? You know, the fans of that nature. You feel me? Pretty much.
Mm.
You
In
know,
fact, they sound
comic
more
book
like the
fans
people
are
who hate
just
Snyder.
yeah. A lot of people have been saying that too. You know,
Because that tone
but.
and the wording reminds me of all the people who hate
But I'm
like
not gonna lie.
Snyder.
What I thought was funny when he was like, no, I'm not a 12-year-old girl. That shit is, that shit is funny. Like you feel
Uh,
me? Like that shit is stupid. Like I'm like, yo, nigga coming out of pocket, man, hard. You feel me?
oh, it's
And,
so
like,
silly, so
and
dumb.
that's what I mean. Like people have different senses of humor where they like, you know, people look at that like, oh man, it's making you look bad. And but there are a lot of people, you feel what I mean? They just think that type of shit is cool, believe it or not. Like,
Yeah.
you feel what I mean? Like there's people like, how do you think fucking Trump became president, man? There's people like that think that type of mentality is cool. And why do you think a lot of these fucking,
Right.
you know, YouTubers and everything too that be talking wild, crazy shit like that be getting hella views. So
Hmm.
I'm just saying, and just being even more out of pocket than that. Like you feel me? But
It's
that's why
very
I say
much
it
like
was,
a Jody, you know?
yeah, and a lot, even a
That
John
lot.
Campia,
Yes.
like
Uh-huh.
like I'm
And
trying
then
to
that's
tell
where I
you,
found it
like
funny, because then I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh, that reminds me of the people that are against us. And then I started imagining them. And then I started imagining them wearing a pro release the Snyder Cut shirt, and then I thought it was funny. It was cute. So it's like, hey, what if
yeah,
those people were like on that? But then I'm also not a fan of the misinterpretation, but I'm also not offended of it because you can't be offended of something that's not true. So it's like whatever.
yeah, that is a
But I
good point.
did
If you
like
want to
that it
look
was.
at it like at a guru type of sense.
Well, yeah, I try, but no, but for real, it is because I don't like being offended, and that does not offend me. It's just kind of weird, like what, like but I still chuckled at it. You know, it's like, "Pff, who's this guy? What the hell?
I wasn't
He's got a Snyder
offended at
Cut shirt.
all.
That's cute. You know, that kind
That's
of
the whole
thing.
thing. Like
It
first it
does
was
look like
like
they did try to do a jab, but it was weak. It was like some really, really weak guy so pissed off at you or something in line or someone, and then he punches you, and it's like soft as a pillow. You're like, that's it?
nah, it was kind of just lazy. Like it was like
Yeah.
it was like a lazy slap, really,
Yeah,
to be
there you go. A
honest.
lazy slap.
Yeah, it
uh,
was like a tap, really, because I thought it because like I said, they talked about it, you know, a few days beforehand. They probably put it out to get publicity to people to watch it anyway. That's why they were talking about it, you know.
hmm
They were probably wanted them. We probably wanted the movement to ride off of it anyway to help buzz up the show. But beyond that, like I just thought it would be funnier. I thought it would be more disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like I thought like because the Harley Quinn show. You feel me? I've seen a few episodes. You know enough to know definitely know what the show is about. You know and like I have a friend that you know that's like a fan of the show that watches it. You feel me? You know all right, up to date. So I do know they do some wild shit on there. They do have some a lot of some jokes where you feel me they go there they try you know what I
hmm
mean like I'm not trying to say they don't go as hard as South Park or Family Guy
No,
or any of that
but
shit
they
but
they have fun with innuendos big time.
yeah they do like you feel me so I thought they would do something a little bit more but it was kind of like an episode intro thing you feel what I mean and it was kind of a thing too if like you feel me motherfuckers who probably be watching it anyway you feel what I mean like you feel me like if you look at it from the you know the Eminem mentality, you feel me, like you said, people like that, you feel what I mean, that really do be coming like that, you know, they're gonna be sitting there, you know, watching it on the couch with their homie anyway, like
Hmm
you know, like real shit, like I chop up my homie first for watching shit that has nothing related to do with shit like that. Like, if I come through, dude, for me, my friend watching Law and Order, I'd be like, bro, you always fucking watching goddamn Law and Order. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I won't go on the whole fucking political trip about it. I'll just be like, turn this shit off and turn on some music or something, motherfucker. Like, like, But you feel me? It's kind of, and that's why I say it's kind of like cliche, and it's kind of, you feel me? Just, it wasn't really much, like, but we actually made it more than it actually was, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. They turned that T-shirt into a charity event, which is already doing well. And the writers seem happy and shocked, but really cool to see how supportive and nice we are.
Yeah, they did respond to some people and everything. They liked a lot of tweets in the movement.
Which also shows that, there's good supportive hype and money to be made with releasing Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
Because they got it easy.
Because to be honest, that's what I'm saying. They make it seem like we care. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's what I think is the funniest thing all Georgia is that they make it seem like we're supposed to care. So, like, why don't you care? They're clowning you. It's like, yo, like, y'all don't realize, like, y'all don't realize that we clearly only want the Snyder Cut. Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all think we really care about all this Twitter shit and all this stupid shit on the internet, bro. The only reason why the majority of us are even on the fucking internet is to get this shit. Mm-hmm. Like, what the fuck? It would be like, for real, you can take that shit and sell it. Like, hell yeah, make that nigga a whole DC character. Give us the damn Snyder Cut, though. What the fuck?
Yeah.
You feel me? We don't care. Like, you feel me? That shit is stupid anyway. The fuck? We're not, like, we're like, what do you think we are? Fucking Star Trek fans or some shit? Like, that has to have a fucking image to uphold? Like, no. It's like we do our thing. We give back to the world, and you feel what I mean? We keep fighting. We keep fighting for the cause. You feel what I'm saying? Like, like one thing like that. If it helps us push forward, it is like fucking whatever. You feel me? Because in my opinion, a lot of people that was on the Snyder Cut shit weren't really even on that geek shit like that in the beginning. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like it's a lot of people. You feel me? That were just fans and supporters in their own private lives, and they weren't really on the fucking internet like that. You feel me? Like they just got into it, and there's even people, you feel me, that wasn't even on that side of Twitter or on that side of Instagram that was doing totally different shit, regular life shit. You feel what I mean? That started supporting it. Like, you feel what I mean? It's like, that's what I mean. So it was like to really think that we care that much about, like, oh man, they're shitting on us. Like you're shitting on Star Wars fans. They're shitting on release Snyder Cut. And I'm like, they're shitting on us. Like, not really, because we're still a very modern day, you feel me, movement and base. You feel what I mean? Y'all bringing us up. You feel me? Y'all making us more known. Like, we were just an internet thing a few years ago. Like, the fuck? You feel me? Like, yeah. Like, that's what I think the crazy thing about it is, like, you're helping us out. Like, what the hell? That's how I really, it's really mind-boggling how it's like y'all talk about us more than the damn Star Wars fans at this point. Like, shit.
Pretty much, man. Especially with how everything's gone down with everything. We're still talked about. BVS is still talked about. Snyder's still talked about.
Like, that's what I'm saying. They don't even know how to pinpoint us. That's why they just had to throw some regular generic shit that, a generic modern, you feel what I mean, dude on the internet type fan that just be bitching, you feel me, would say. You feel me? Like, you feel me? Like, because the movement is all over the place with so many different types of motherfuckers. They don't even, like, there was motherfuckers hitting up the creators telling, like, yo, that shit was funny, but do something better next time. And it was like, yeah, can you throw a girl in there too? Like, do this. Like, that shit was alright, but you feel me? It's like, come on, like,
step it up.
Like,
do some homework.
Yeah, step it up. Like, you feel what I mean? Like, like, we go hard with this shit. The fuck, the hell? You see the type of shit that we try to get done and get done. You feel me? They've seen it. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like, we float planes over many a shit. Like, for real, we do. Like, you got to go hard or go home. We believe that. So, like I said, I just thought it would be better. That's the only thing. I probably would have liked it better to see it. You feel what I mean? Live anyway too, because I would have probably seen it eventually anyway. Right. Because my homie E, he watches that shit, so he probably, cause he knows that I'm on the Snyder Cut shit anyway, so he would have put me on it immediately. You feel me? Like immediately he would have put me on that shit. So I would have thought it probably would even better to not even seen it online, but they did it to bring the buzz up, and it wasn't. Did you want to put the to review on it of what it was? It was a 2 on a man as far as the joke and how they came, because I've seen them do way funnier shit and go harder on way different shit.
Yeah, just
But
catch a few episodes. They're pretty brilliant. So that was kind of
yeah,
like, really?
yeah, like so. But it was a throwaway though. It was a throwaway in the beginning of the episode. But on the flip side of that, you feel what I mean? It was pretty clever, and at the same time, it did help us out. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me?
On another flip side, and this is kind of minute, it does entertain the trolls. What do you think about that?
Well,
Because some of them were saying like, "Huh, that's exactly what you guys are," and trolls always say the bad stuff anyways. They dig anything out that they can.
but people only
But they were
focus on the
parading.
bad. That's the whole thing.
Mm.
People focus on the negative so much that it's like the first thing that they're really gonna bite on. As far as the trolls, like we troll the trolls, so it's like you can only troll us for so long. Like we like you feel me? That's what that's what I mean. You can really only troll us for so long. And it's like it doesn't really even matter with for country because we'll outlast you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you feel me? We have a whole movement that's internet based. Like some of us could hop off the shit for like a whole month at a hand, a whole
And someone
year.
else would be picking up the slack, no problem.
Exactly. like you don't know what you don't know what y'all dealing with. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like that's why a lot of motherfuckers don't even really you feel me? They engage y'all a little bit, but y'all really only engage the people that want to engage you. Like we even know the I even know the people that want to engage. When I see a troll, I know the motherfucker that's gonna respond to that troll and shit on him already before he even knows. The shit said, "Oh, that shit was there for 5 minutes." All right, when I come back to this in like an hour, then like, all right, you feel me? I know exactly who's gonna respond to you, who's gonna fucking destroy you. You feel me? Like, and it has nothing to do with me. You feel me? It's just like I just been on this shit, so like I know. And then when I come back, when I see that shit scroll down my shit again, I be like, yep, here it is. You feel what I mean? Like niggas digging in your ass now. You feel me? He's trolling you hard. You feel me? I see the shit going down. Like, oh, yep, he done ran you off. He done hit you with all them memes, hit you with all them jokes and them memes, made you look stupid, called you a Spider-Man boy. You feel me? You stop replying. Like, I see it every day. You feel what I mean? So, and that is like literally not like point 0.0000001% of what's going on in the movement. So it was like trolling is like so small on the scale of just you feel what I mean? Because trolls have small ass accounts anyway, so they don't even reach majority of people. They be just you really just see them in threads. When you hop in threads to go check out shit, you check out the comment, you feel me? You scroll down to the bottom, all the crazy shit's always at the bottom. And this motherfucker, like, you just gotta stay away from the bottom, really. You feel me? Within the top and the middle is fucking geeks talking geek shit like, wow, Snyder movie sang anyway, you feel me? And I like fucking Homecoming. You feel what I mean? Like, why do you guys care about Snyder Cut so much? Just move on. They're about to make another Shazam movie. It's like, okay.
uh,
Like this shit is comical.
they're also
Like,
very predictable too, because I've come across a few, and even one today, that called us a cult, and we're cultists. And I don't know if you even knew who he was talking to when he was telling me the Snarka is a cultist. And I'm like, dude, my avatar has like a freaking no hate promotion with release a Snarka hat on. And I don't know. I was like, whatever. But I find it funny that the ones who call us cultists and all that, they always have avatars with some comic book picture or a movie picture. You don't even see who they are, their face, where they live is like Metropolis or some
yeah,
weird ass fantasy
they're
place.
trolls.
And everything that they post is screen captures and stuff. A lot of it hating Snyder, even making fun of his tragedy as well. And it's just like they're more dedicated to Snyder than I am. And if anyone's a cult, I think they are, because they follow each other. They have their own circle. They don't even show their face, and then they have this little traditional attack system that is consistent, and they worship it every day at every hour at a certain time. I don't know if they eat together. Maybe they do, or sing
Man,
songs
shit, man.
and chants. But if
If we
anyone's
were
a
if
cult,
we were a cult,
that's
we would have
them.
got the damn Snyder cut, but way by now. We would have got that shit way earlier.
We'd be like
If we
Project
were
Mayhem
really
or
a cult.
something in Fight Club. You know what I'm saying?
How you
It's
feel
like,
me?
we'd all have
do
like
you realize
acid
that?
kiss burns on our hands and shit.
Yeah. Like what the fuck we do? We don't even. We would have to. You think fucking like over 100,000 people? You feel what I mean? Maybe even more are meeting in real life. You feel me?
Oh
Like if we're a
man,
cult, is Ben Affleck down with the cult too?
is Gal Gadot down with the code too?
Yeah, like what the
Jason
fuck?
Momoa. Oh, and Deadpool. And when I say Deadpool, I mean Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds, actor for Deadpool. Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool. They're both on our backs. You know, they got our backs. They're part
Yeah,
of the
I
team.
think we're Illuminati now, Kojay.
Oh shit. Hey, if you are against release a Snyder cut, do not support Gal Gadot. Do not support Aquaman, and you better not be a Deadpool fan because those guys are on our. They got our backs.
Yeah,
And don't
they
eat
was
at
the
Wendy's
cult,
and don't
man.
eat at Subway. Those people are
Yeah,
all supporters of release a Snyder cut.
yeah,
So
they be sipping Kool-Aid with us in the Bat Cave.
yeah, while we all take naps together in this white garb, wearing
Yeah,
sandals.
yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about? And like what's really the funniest and the stupid thing about it is that like people just get brainwashed by the media so much. You feel what I mean? And they just write off media buzzwords and media narratives. So hard because majority of the people on the internet are fucking stupid. You feel what I mean? And they really have no reason to even, you feel what I mean, be operating on that type of level. You know what I mean? They really should be banned off the internet based on how low their fucking intelligence is. But most of these types of motherfuckers.
Yeah, I
But
even tried conversing with one, and they even forgot like 3 messages ago what I said. They're like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" I was like, the topic we're talking about." It's just kind of weird. It's like they have like it almost seems like they have a brief memory. Like it's only like who could shout the loudest or whatever.
but it's not even that. It's just that they just go off things that the media uses to pretty much shit on the consumer and shit on the quote unquote fan bases. You feel what I mean? To like pretty much divide the consumer and in a way make it easier for people to spend their money. You feel me? Because if people are having actual intellectual discussions about, you feel me, the products that they're spending their money on, then or anything of that nature, then people are just gonna make blind decisions and just go into things like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna do it, check it out, cha-ching. You feel what I mean? Like how they usually do. And then what they do is they throw in words like cult and toxic. You feel what I mean? They also throw in, like, you feel me, popular, like mainstream, like real political, buzzwords like misogyny and feminism and racism. You feel what I mean? It's usually bullshit racism too. That's like because in America they don't really give two shits about real racism.
They
Like,
don't even,
but
I don't even know if they
things,
understand what real racism is at some
yeah,
points.
things of that nature, to get people divided and not really speaking about the things that they're consuming that's being pushed on them by the greater society, and that's pretty much what happens a lot now, in fandoms, especially with the political sphere. Pretty much at this point, we can say the political sphere has officially leaked into cultured media, like art media, like, you feel what I mean, like video games, film, things of that nature. You feel what I mean? And even television and all that, of course. And people always say like, "Oh yeah, hasn't it always been like that? There's always been political TV shows and movies." It's like, no, dumb motherfucker, we're not saying that. You know what I mean? Like, no, duh. Like, what the fuck? We all seen Jack Ryan, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, we're saying that, you feel what I mean? The actual in real life media spectrums where like they talk about politics over here and entertainment is over here. You know what I'm saying? they rarely coincide and, you know, conflict, and if they do, it's in very subtle ways. You feel what I mean? Even if you watch political movies and all that, and nobody can lie, they do very slick shit, so it doesn't seem like they're pointing to anything that's actually happening in real life blatantly. Come on. It's like they'll throw a fake Middle Eastern country in there just so they can make a movie about them going to war with the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they'll do all this funny shit. You feel what I mean? They'll make all this shit up and add all this layers and hide shit to make, you know, and then you gotta go through like 5 layers of fucking Hollywood bullshit to actually find out what this fucking action movie was really about, or what this fucking military movie was really based on. Because they ain't just gonna fucking put it all up in your face. They never did that. You know what I mean?
It was rare,
so
even Rambo 3.
Yeah, exactly. Even on that topic level, like, what are people talking about? Even like, and perfect example. That's why movies like like Sicario. You ever seen that movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's like why movies like Sicario, people say like, oh man, Sicario was so fucking good. Why? And then people watch Sicario like, why is this movie so good? It seems like just any other, you know, military drug cartel, you feel me, white man with a gun going into some place, you feel what I mean, just, you know, to do some wild shit type movie. You feel what I mean? Like Black Ops type movie. Like, there's a lot of movies like that. But the thing about that movie is that, for once, they actually had things in that movie that were truthful. You feel me? That were, you feel what I mean? That you can say actually connect to real history, and, you know, the geopolitical sphere even going on now. They was talking about how, you feel what I mean, the Mexican drug cartel pretty much overtook and pushed out the Colombian drug cartel, and, you feel what I mean, the U.S. and the CIA and all them, you feel what I mean, deep state motherfuckers is pretty much trying to take out the Mexican drug cartel so they can put the Colombian drug cartel back on. Mm-hmm. That was pretty much the whole plot of the movie. You feel me? And that, you feel what I mean, you can say, we don't know if that's a fictional story, but based on real events, that's actually what had happened. You feel what I mean? Right. The Colombians used to be on shit. You feel what I mean? That was even back when you feel me during the 80s, and then the Nicaragua era too. You feel what I mean? And Reagan. You feel what I mean? They was sending all the coke over here, and the CIA was giving it to the black people, and they were selling it. You feel what I mean? And then they sweeped everybody at the end of the 80s and took everybody to jail. You feel me? Like, you know, except for Reagan and all. You feel me? All the black people went to jail, pretty much.
Right.
Like, this is that was the reason why they tried to gas that one action movie. Like, it was the shit on top of shit on top of shit. Because it was actually the one movie that wasn't actually using fucking all these barriers and smoke screens to pull off a realistic, like, you feel me, movie like that without fucking giving up actual things or talking about real things that are happening in the political sphere around the world. Like, they ain't just about to make a fucking movie about fucking Kim Jong-un dying on his deathbed and shit, you feel me, and China trying to go over there to maybe save him or maybe assassinate him when the shit's going on right now. China gonna be like, yo, what the fuck, y'all low-key made this movie. Like, remember when they made that movie talking about assassinating Kim Jong-un too? And then what happened? The Sony hack happened?
That's right. That's right.
Like, so come on. Like, that's, like, I'm just proving my point here. You can say they're with politics and entertainment, but it wasn't to the extent where they were just throwing all this shit. And, like, when it came to, you feel me, geopolitical stuff, when it came to, you feel me, social issues, you know, when it's going on in the country and things of that nature, they never went that deep. They never did. Like, you know, nowadays, they do. You feel what I mean? Nowadays, it's gotten to the point, you feel what I mean, where it is getting to that level where motherfuckers be pushing their political ideologies not only in fandom, but also in the media that people are watching. You feel what I mean? They're also using a lot more propaganda, you feel what I mean, on TV and in films, you feel what I mean, to push against, you feel what I mean, you know, obviously, enemies of America. You feel me? Clearly. Like, you feel me? Because why else would it be there? You feel me? But, and it goes even deeper than that. You feel me? They're also using it to push, you feel me, on certain social issues and social aspects of what's going on, not only in the country, but across the world. Like, these weren't really things that they was doing to that extent, and you can't really say that they were, because you can just see how long it really took for them to even make movies, you feel me, that didn't have fucking black people acting like damn fools in it all the damn time. You feel me? Like, so you can't say, like, you feel me, these motherfuckers was progressive or anything, like, you feel me, or they were doing anything that was really presented real life. They like they never did that shit, and they're not doing it now. They're doing it even worse now, because now they're doing it in a way where they're force feeding you this shit. Because in my opinion, society's just taking too damn long to pick up on this shit. At least on this side, I guess, where we're at.
No, I believe that. I see that.
Yeah, and that's having a lot of pushback and effect on, the media itself as a whole and the populace. You feel me? Based on what the populace wants or thinks the media should be doing. You feel me? And what it's actually doing. Like, and that goes into all fields. Like, you feel me? News. You feel me? Just regular television. You feel me? Film, games. Even books. You feel me? It's getting that deep, and it's really hard to say where this shit is gonna go when it comes down to it, because when you have a thing where fans and all that, you feel me, are now fighting in a battle where some fans just want you feel what I mean, to do what has always been done in fandoms and talk about the things and that they like and critique it and hopefully figure by doing that make it better. You feel what I mean? That's why they have fan forums and fan communities and all things of that nature well before Twitter ever existed. Like and now with this huge political aspect coming into, you feel me, to this side, you feel what I mean, now it's creating a battlefield where a lot of people are novices and they don't know how to maneuver through this, because there's a lot of this stuff that's not fucking supposed to be there anyway. You feel me? And even conversations that really shouldn't be even having to be had, and that should be left, as they say, you feel what I mean, in certain situations, no politics or religion and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And those cardinal rules have pretty much been completely thrown out the window, plus more. Where, like, when you're in these spaces that should be, safe fan spaces, but then you have people that, you feel what I mean, plus agents and all that other things that are forcibly bringing in this stuff too, that are discussing politics and religion and, you feel me, social issues and all this other fucking wild shit. Plus, in a place where, you feel me, a lot of these people are not really prepared to fucking handle this shit, or talking about this shit, or process it. Like, and it creates an environment, you feel me, where, it creates these type of people, you feel me, that exist today in a type, you feel what I mean, of stereotype when it comes to fans. You feel what I mean? You feel what I mean? Of not only how the fans really are, but on top of that, how the media tries to portray them to be. You feel what I mean? So they can bend them to their will. And so it comes on top of that of, yes, the fan complains, the fan wants this, and the fan wants that, and the fan feels like, if the creator were just listening a little, you feel what I mean, it could benefit, you feel what I mean, the franchise or the brand or the product of just a little better. Just a little bit, you feel me? And the media throws all this stuff on the fan, you feel what I mean, at this point, because, like I said, now we're in a place where it's in the political sphere, where now you don't know if you're speaking to someone who's standing up for an ideology or actually just a regular fan. You feel what I mean? Like, it's weird. You feel what I mean? Like, then they're throwing all these things at you. Like, you feel what I mean? Like, oh yeah, because you feel what I mean, you didn't like how this, you feel what I mean, My Little Pony thing turned out. Like, you're this and you're that, and these types of people are like this, and we need more fans that are like that. Now you have the media dictating, you feel me, what type of fans that, you feel what I mean, I guess the company should want, and that they need to be successful, and that these type of fans that are trying to tell you things and complain and stuff, are bad. I guess, like, speaking generally, you feel me, like, and then that shit pretty much goes on and on when it goes back to the fan, and it's like, yo, what the fuck, you feel me? They're saying I'm this and I'm that, and, like, you feel me? I just said one thing about this fucking one bad episode of My Little Pony, like, when the thing goes back and forth forever, and then you get Snyder Cut guy on Harley Quinn. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like you have
Yeah.
this hodgepodge generalization of what, you feel me, the fan, what the fan is. You feel me? At the end of the day, that's not really real and never was real. You feel me? Because all this shit just comes on TV anyway. You feel what I mean? Like, and is it our fault? As you feel me, the fans and consumers and all that shit, like, it's like no, because when it comes to the greater, larger thing of what's going on in the country and the whole world as a whole, like yeah, they did decide to fold over that mold, and I mean those folds, and bring that together. Where it's like, all right, we're gonna start bringing all this real politics shit into entertainment and start go. They decided that in the Obama era, like even in that era, that's when they really decided that it's really legal to be lying and put propaganda on TV. It was during the Obama era too.
Yeah,
Like,
because before that, propaganda was illegal.
yeah,
Like you
and
had to have
a lot of people don't know that.
true
Like,
sources. Yeah, and of course people won't know that because why would they when it's no longer illegal?
yeah. So now when you see these things going on with the Snyder Cut movement, and not only that, with other fandoms and how they push it and how it's all developed over years, and you're like, yo, what the hell is going on? Why is it like this? You feel what I mean? Now it's like everything's like, even like how David Ayers said, like everything's over politicized and all that because propaganda is legal now. Like,
Pretty much.
you feel me? And they're pushing a lot of fucking propaganda, like, and that's on all levels. And yes, it even has an effect on even the Snyder Cut movement too, because we can be considered, a fandom. We're a movement too. We're part of the consumer base, and also, you feel me. So that's why it is hard. You feel what I mean? To get past those humps, because we're fighting one battle, but then there's another battle going on that we have nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Like, there's another battle going on about virtue signaling and SJWs and, like, you feel me? Like, and then everybody hates Trump, and you feel what I mean?
And I feel
Democrat
people
versus
use
Republican. And,
yeah, and I feel people use movements for their own other gain too.
yeah.
So it's hard to really see who's sincere and what's really going on. And
Exactly.
throwing them back to the trolls, they seem like another piece of that propaganda pie, and definitely have an agenda to the point where they're either really filled with hate or something. They're their own cult, or they're like an insane shill. So what do you think is like the best way to handle them, or how do you do?
Oh, I just ignore them, really. It's like, there's really no way handling them. And that's what I mean. It's like, when it really comes down to it, this shit is beyond us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why you have to, in my opinion, if you're a part of the movie, you just gotta focus on it. And, if you just want the film out, you gotta just be on that. Cause like I said, there's so much, all this other shit going on. Like, you got, like, you feel me, all these other trolls that exist, and they're trolling other shit too. You feel what I mean? And at the end of the day, and on top of that, on the other layer, on top of that, you do have real stands and real shells and everything that just want to stand and shell. You feel what I mean? They just want to live on that obey life. You know what I mean? Like,
Obey.
So, and then beyond that, you have like the media and everything that's gonna push it how, they want to push it. You feel me? Like, you have journals and bloggers, and you feel what I mean, YouTubers, and you feel what I mean, and they're gonna push whatever narrative or whatever that fits what they're trying to accomplish. You feel me? Their ideology. You never really know their motivation. You feel me? Like, there's a lot of fan YouTube channels and all that, and can't really trust a lot of them. You feel me? They all have their own. You feel what I mean? Ideology of how they're looking at these things now, and some of them are more obvious than others. You feel me? And then there's some people that are are more genuine. You feel me? But then past that, you actually have the real, the larger media, the news channels, the big trades and things like that. Like, past that, there's really nothing you can do with that. You know what I mean? They're gonna push it and push it how they want to sell it and all that shit. Like, you know, you see how they do the Star Wars fans. Like, you know, they have no problem going in on them and saying they're all types of racist hillbillies and shit. Like, so dead ass though. So like the shit is real to an extent. Like, and people, you know, not to take away your hope or anything, you know, because you know if I'm sounding down right now, like you like say like, oh, you can't fight against that.
No,
And it's like,
not really.
you can't.
Keep
I'm just saying like, is that our battle that we're fighting is on this side, and you feel me? But there is a larger battle on another side that's going on. That's in that, you feel me? That kind of encompasses what, you know, where we're at. You feel me? And some when we feel that collateral. You feel what I mean? Sometimes from that fucking other big ass battle over there. You feel what I mean? Like, cause we're not really a group as far as how people try to paint it. That you feel me? That cares about any of that shit. Like, you feel what I mean? Like, we actually don't want this shit to be about politics or anything political at all. You feel me? Like, if we are gonna like shit on anything, you feel me? We just gonna shit on the merits of, you feel what I mean, within the fandom. You feel me? We're not gonna bring fucking politics into it, like, cause it's very easy just to shit on a movie just cause it's a movie.
Yeah.
Like still or anything. It's like, you know, geeks have been doing it forever. Like, motherfucker won't like one page in the comic and shit on that shit for days. Like, you know, so so it's like it has just like we never really, if we're gonna dislike something, it's not gonna be because, like, you know, there was a girl in it, you feel what I mean, or someone's sexual orientation, or you feel what I mean, there was a black person in it, like, and I'm black too, so definitely not. Like, and I don't feel like there has been even I haven't ran into Dan or anyone, you feel me, especially part of the movement or even a part of the greater DC fandom as a group, you feel what I mean, that's even really against any of that stuff, you feel me? And all that stuff is already in the comics anyway.
Right.
It's like, you know, so you can't let that shit bog you down, really. You feel me? You have to really focus on, you know, what matters and what's at hand. Like, you feel me?
It's also
Like,
a waste of time with them trolls because they've already made up their mind, dedicating everything. What if you argue with them? It's like, you know, if you insult a hypocrite, they just get angry. It's not like you're gonna change their perspective or do anything good.
Yeah, but I've been not
like to
engaging
figure out
with
what they're about.
Kojay. So,
What's that?
you know, like I said, yeah, I've been not engaging with trolls, Kojay. I've
Yep.
never engaged with trolls. Like, I don't even like. I feel like
I've
that's
questioned
the best
them a
way
few
to go.
times just to get the thinking process because it still baffles me, but it doesn't really.
My thing is not the troll. My thing is, you feel what I mean, breaking past the media's barrier. You feel me?
Yes, that's the important part.
Like, trolls don't matter. Those are like fucking grunts in Halo. Right? Like, to be G, like, just like that. But the thing is, with things bubbling up more, you feel me, and shit hitting the mainstream even more. Everyone has to just stay focused, I feel.
Yeah, and I feel the movement it just gets stronger and stronger, honestly. There'll be patches where it's kind of like, okay, there's nothing going on right now, but you have a moment where something like this pops, like this week, and that article, and whatever, and we just kind of like keep getting louder, and people recognize it too. Like, even some of my friends said, who are not Snyder fans, said that that Harley Quinn thing was misrepresentation, very cringe and yuck. But, you know, they recognize it because of the stuff we do and who we are. And that says something that's pretty powerful and strong.
Yeah, and we took advantage of it anyway.
Yeah, we flipped it into a positive. That's like a Borg life. As Ray Fisher said, you know, it's taking the negative and turning it into something positive. Just filter it. And don't feed the trolls.
Yeah. but it is still kind of a little unfortunate because it just shows you kind of even how far like the I guess the divide between fandoms and the industry have, you feel me, split in a sense. Like
Yeah, that is true.
back in the day, even the industries knew their groups and they knew their fandoms, and some of them still do. Like even we were talking about earlier, like how the people who make Power Rangers, they know they know what Power Rangers fans, they know what they want and how they come.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like not nowadays, you feel me? It's just so much going on that everything gets bogged down and smashed into one in a sense. Where then you get guys like Snyder Cut guy, like, you feel me, like, that has a Snyder
Wow.
Cut shirt on, but like, you feel me, like, yeah, like I said, it could have been funnier and way doper if he actually was like a real Snyder Cut, more like a Snyder Cut type of person. You feel
Yeah.
me, like, but hey, at the end of the day, this shit helps us out more than it did them, really.
Mm-hmm. Which is also a powerful message in itself. So that's pretty good. You feel like ending the episode? Anything else you want to say, brother?
Well, we can still talk about all the events coming up.
Oh, that's true, and I think we should. Very good point. We have the Mother's Day event. Zack Snyder posted this picture of his weights, and there was a 5, and then lower down on it, there was a 1, and to the right, there's a 0. So 5, 10. That's a good. That's the date of Mother's Day. So, and then with parents being a prominent figure in DC characters' upbringing and stories, I think it's a good time to celebrate the mothers, and also the Martha moment is a very emotionally profound moment used. Some people who are lacking compassion probably don't get it or understanding or whatever, but it is a very
Wow, Kojay.
no, it's true. What the fuck? Anyways, that's another podcast, honestly. But seriously, the importance of parents, especially the mother, is really huge in, I think, the DC universe and the lore. And it's cool, celebrate, post whatever you want, use the hashtag release a Snyder Cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League, and something beautiful. Maybe share some with your mom or something about the DC character's mom or something like that. But that's the day we do it, and why. There's also another one coming up. I'll let you go about that one.
Yeah, well, there's one going on right now. It was done by Ben W. Where there's Watchmen wristbands.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just saw that before we started this conversation. Go on.
Yeah, it's like $3 for one, and I think $20 for like 13 or something. I could be wrong for me because I'm not exactly on the poster right now, but all that goes to, I think, AFSP too.
Uh-huh.
So
That's right.
that's something that Ben threw together that actually looks like it's pretty dope. If y'all want to check that out too, show him some love. Ben's definitely the homie.
Yeah.
He's been pushing strong for a minute.
Mm-hmm. He's been all over the place. He's been with different groups and all that, but he's always been honest, sincere, passionate, heart of gold. I'm honored he's my friend. I'm honored he's your friend. He's always been Snyder Cut, and he's a great guy. In fact, at SnyderCon, I remember passing him, and before I didn't know him, because he just smiled, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" Because I was saying hello to everybody. But he did look familiar, and I think it was from something online. Because like, I think I know that guy from somewhere. And then when we got to know him, we're all really tight. I was like, dang, looking back, we could have had a beer and just hung out. Shit. So Ben is legit.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And you said there was one more.
Yeah. Let me bring it up. because it's one of those. Geo just retweeted it. It's one of those information posts that have like a lot of detail on it, so it's kind of harder for me to remember. I'm blaming my age. Let's see. Scrolling.
Old motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Still playing Skyrim and drinking my juice.
You need to really start playing another game.
It's gonna happen, man. I can't wait.
Put down the Skyrim already.
No,
So,
I must save the world.
oh yeah, Kevin Smith also was talking about the Snyder Cut. And released the Snyder Cut, posted about it. Thank you,
That's
Kevin
right.
Smith for. Let me read it.
Kevin Smith has always been a homie, and he's always been pro Snyder Cut. I love and appreciate that guy.
10-minute discussion about the Snyder Cut. So if anybody wants to go check that out on RT Snyder Cut too, go for it.
Oh yeah. So here is the other event coming up, and I'll just read it. It's the HBO Max launches on May 27th. Ooh, 10 days after my birthday. Let's show HBO Max and Warner Brothers that there is a market and a demand for hashtag Zack Snyder's Justice League. When? Wednesday, May 27th at 2:14 p.m. in your local time. We will not all be tweeting at the same time. Depending on your location, you may be tweeting hours before your friends. This will spread out our tweets and maintain a steady stream throughout the day. The details. Tweet your message /pics/gifs with the hashtags Release the Snyder Cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Tag at HBO Max, at HBO Max PR, at Warner Media. Feel free to continue to tag at WB Pictures, at Warner Bros, at ATT for increased visibility. Tweet as much as you want and as time allows throughout the day. Sorry. Let's stand together and make our voices heard from around the globe. It's time to release the Snyder Cut. It's time for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, I like how that ended. Well done.
All right.
So yeah, there you go. May is the month. It is also the month of mental health awareness, and that's very important, especially that we're here and supporting AFSP and trying to stop suicide. Mental health is very important, and it's a good time to be mindful of that, because that's a huge theme behind Snyder's BVS, and also what brings us together to be behind Release the Snyder Cut too. Stop suicide is very important, and this is the month where we have a lot of events. This is the month where I hoped and predicted we'd have Snyder Cut by now, so we'll see. And if it doesn't happen, I'll just have to strategize another prediction, and I'm excited. It's my birthday month too, so yeah, let's hopefully a lot of good things happen.
Word. Well, yeah, I hope a lot of good things happen around your birthday too, man. Hope you get some pussy or something, you know. Hong Kong.
Man, after this pandemic, there's going to be a baby boom. Shoot, I might just give my niece a cousin. I don't know. I gotta be careful.
There's gonna be a common cold boom too.
Oh, snap.
I'm trying to tell you, but it's gonna be all good, you know.
Yeah, we'll get through this.
But yeah, as far as that, you know, if you wanna, there's some Release the Snyder Cut guy pictures going around and all that. You wanna get one, get the shirt. Feel me? Get the Avi.
Yeah, check out Ink to the People. Just type in Snyder Cut and you'll find the shirt. Last time I checked, I think there's 28 days to purchase the shirt, so take time, wait for your paycheck. If you don't got the money, all the proceeds go to AFSP, and that is a charity that started, I believe, yesterday in the midst of all that that little Harley Quinn video.
Yeah, be the guy. You feel what I mean?
Be the guy or girl, you know. It's
Oh,
time to
girl.
show everyone the true faces and the true people of Release the Snyder Cut with that shirt, and you do a good cause. And you know they did a little weak slap at us that didn't even touch us, and then we turn it into something positive and help more charities because that's really what we're about.
Yeah, hopefully next time it'll be a little funnier. Well, actually funny.
Oh,
Cause I'm the
ooh,
type of dude who likes comedy that, like, you feel me. If it's gonna be, if it's gonna be like parody or satire comedy, like it has to be real or
it
as
has to be
close
very
as,
intelligent. You gotta do
yeah,
that.
it has to be as close to, to the nose as possible. You feel what I mean? For me to really
Yeah,
think it's like funny. That shit was way, way, way. That shit was mad general as fuck. You feel what I mean? Like, even a lot of people were saying that the shirt should have been flipped,
right.
really. But
The brother
but
on the
that's
right
a
should have had Release the Snyder Cut, and the other guy should have had like
but
Last Jedi is canon. Is that what the shirt said?
I think it said it isn't canon.
Oh, isn't canon. Okay, that makes way more sense actually now.
Well, this is odd because you might as well just say that you feel me. The sequel trilogy isn't canon because that's really how motherfuckers feel. Like, and trust
Oh,
me, I'm just saying. If a person, for most people who don't like the Last Jedi, they probably don't like any of the new Star Wars movies. Like, trust me. I've heard enough of their opinions to know. Like, so, like, that's outside of our box. We don't really fuck with that shit, so that's not a really our thing.
no,
Like,
that's a
we
different
wrote,
arena. That's a different league.
so
You know.
that's what they are. But yeah, that's what that's just my opinion. Like, but yeah, I think I saw one more, but
What's that?
past that, the only thing we can just end it on is, I think, the Snyder Cut. Hopefully that it'll be out on either in theaters or on HBO Max after this coronavirus thing clears up. Obviously, you probably won't be there. You feel me, on date one release. You feel me, but
Mm-hmm.
at some point when things get off the ground, it could definitely be, one of the early originals that comes out on the platform, and it can maybe even get a limited release or something of that nature. There
Mm-hmm.
is also talks of a few more events coming up. That RT Snyder Cut has been teasing about, and I'm sure other people will probably try to come with some other things. If you haven't been up to date, with the RT Snyder Cut account and the Hub account, they recently updated the website, and they put some things up there discussing how they'll be running events in the future after these upcoming events that are happening now. And pretty much, yeah, we're gonna bring in a brand new push, another large swing. I mean, more big things for the future. Hoping, like they say, we ain't gonna have this shit stop until it ends with us hit and play on the Snyder Cut. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, I want to own that stuff in my film collection.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I also like to say that sorry for the absence. Yeah, when it was a long absence, and
Yeah, but we'll
we
always be
probably
around.
promised it. We promised the next episode will probably be cover a lot more stuff and be more in depth. But there's a lot going on. You know, there's a bear sickness that's loose, and
Mm-hmm.
on top of all that, we also kind of been more focused on what's actually going on, internally, that with people we know in the movement that need us to be more focused on that rather than just pushing out as many podcasts as we can, like, right now. Plus, that wasn't really always our goal. I guess it was never really our goal.
No,
Like,
this is just another way we could help the movement, and we really need that Zack Snyder's Justice League in our
yeah,
possession.
but
So we're for that.
we'll definitely be back with more in the future. You feel what I mean? We could come up with some new concepts. Bringing some new discussions to the table. We just had, this is the welcome back one. So hopefully, y'all even give a fuck that we're back. But welcome back to us.
Yeah, we're here to stay. Never doubt. We'll always be around, and we'll be back at you. Guaranteed.
Where release the Snyder cut, motherfucker.